racist and sexist text messages about students and staff emerged. The alleged exchange on district-issued cell phones between two top Coatesville school district leaders.
I mean, it's just ignorance, and I think it shouldn't really be going on.
Very disturbed, very concerned, very emotional.
The messages included repeated use of the N-word and other disturbing, bigoted comments.
Just repulsed me.
What's with the holes in all your stories?
Whether guilt is proven or not, something went terribly wrong.
Both Como and Donato abruptly resigned at the beginning of the school year.
The Coatesville Teachers Association is speechless over how offensive all of the comments, the text messages were.
I don't even have anything to say anymore. It's nothing to say. You know, they should have fired him. Should have been fired.
I feel as though they should be fired. You know, I mean, they did wrong. I mean, you do wrong on your job, don't you get fired?
Let me show you the picture again. This is the Coatesville, Pennsylvania school superintendent that we're talking about. This is the man that parents say wrote such sickening, vulgar, and racist texts. Richard Como, well, he's the athletic director, or he's Richard Como, rather. The athletic director is Jim Donato, and both of them together, back and forth, using the N-word over and over again like it was just second nature. But that's only part of the outrage here, because neither one of these clowns were fired. They resigned, and we know the reason why they did that is because you still get a pension when you resign and you're not fired. But what's amazing is, why didn't they just come right out and say, you're fired?
After reading this, are you kidding me? I'm reading this, and I'm shocked. I've seen it all. I've heard it all. But I tell you, I've never heard this. This is
right,
like this. Incredible.
You're getting right to it. So let me just lay out one of these text messages, okay? And we couldn't understand how disgusting this was till we actually read these. And I mean, we've all witnessed racism before, but this is, it's amazing what people will say when they think nobody's watching or no one else is going to see this, all right?
The thing that's so outrageous is these are people that are responsible for caretaking
our kids.
Oh, my God.
All right, so the conversation here, this text message exchange, all right, is about black students, and they're joking back and forth about how all these black kids should have the N-word as their last name. So here we go. All should just have whatever first name they want. The last name, N-word, like Leroy, N-word, Preacher, N-word, Night Train, N-word, which I don't even understand all that. And then he comes back and says, great idea, Joe, N-word, Bill, N-word, Snake, N-word, got a nice ring to it. And then LMAO, laugh my ass out loud. I don't remember what that is. Thank you. I mean,
this is
help me out. Am I the only one that's upset here?
To read. When I received the text messages, literally on my phone, I read that first text and I had to shut it off. You know, it's interesting to me that this is not just the use of the N-word. Okay, we can debate that all day long. This is a condition of these persons' hearts. This is how they are looking at the world. This is how they see their students. This is how they see human beings. This is how they see women. This is how they see men. This is scary, to say the least.
And how is it that it's not illegal in some way? I mean, does it fall under freedom of speech? I hate to say that, but I'm just so perplexed at the fact that they were able to quit and keep their pension with attitude like this.
Well, it's not a crime per se to be an ignorant bigot.
Right. But
these are school phones.
Exactly.
Right, I get it, but that doesn't necessarily make it a criminal act. It makes it a civil problem. It's outrageous that these are people.
That's
right. It's outrageous.
Thank you.
By the way, thank God that this was discovered, that these are people that are responsible for shaping the hearts and minds of young people. Thank God this was
For example, when it comes to hiring teachers or it comes to punishing students, what are they going to do? Treat the black students different from the white students?
And it's not just blacks. They're equal opportunity haters. They hate everybody.
Here we go. Here's another text message. This one, they're actually ripping apart a Middle Eastern coworker. And let me see if we... Yeah, it says right here, ha ha, effing camel jockey gets me a white girly phone that doesn't work. Gaza Strip has better connection during suicide bombers.
Wow. Oh, my Lord.
I mean, I'm saying... But you know what? All right, while we we sit here and go, wow, wow, isn't this awful? Do you know how many people have these kind of conversations like every single day?
I know they do, but
people
that's
that
the
all
thing.
of us know.
I know,
Yeah,
but that's the thing. So now these guys got away with it. So how are we being an example to anybody that, you know, you shouldn't be having these conversations?
No, they get a pension. That's what I don't get.
But
if it was a cop, they wouldn't be getting a pension.
Well, but here's the thing. They had a right to have a hearing. Just like if you're a cop, you've got a right to have a hearing. So by resigning, it saves a lot of money, a lot of heartache going through that due process.
But I mean, if you get in trouble, you can at least have classes, you can have training, you can be forced to make sure that your attitude changes in the future.
But you know what? Are you going to change the attitude of someone like this? Probably not.
Okay. So parents, of course, are outraged. Parents are outraged with the school board. Here's the meeting last night.
You've known about the texting for over a month. And never once did you say a word.
I respectfully request the resignation of the entire school board.
Now here's some of the reaction to the controversy and the sense of betrayal last night.
The Coatesville Teachers Association is speechless over how offensive all of the comments, the text messages were, not only to our teachers and staff, but to just about races and religions in general.
Did a lot for us, and then to hear him talk about us like that, how he really felt inside about us, it was just bad, and it hurt it.
Liz Muirhead's on the phone. She was one of the parents that was there. Liz, how do you feel about this whole mess?
Well, you know, Kira, I think, you know, one thing I want to say first is the point you just made about the pensions was incorrect. The decision to terminate or allow them to resign doesn't affect the outcome of pensions. But as far as my feelings specifically, you know, I was disappointed in the outcome. As parents, we wanted the board to make a statement that they were going to hold the administrators accountable for their actions, because that's what we expect our children to grow up being held accountable for their actions, and so we wanted that to be transparent to them. But, you know, on the other side, the fact that the board actually came out and explained the rationale for their decision-making and, you know, simply that it was the best way.
Well, what did they say? Why didn't they just fire them?
So because they're public employees, there is a protracted hearing process that can also result in lawsuits that could allow them to collect the remaining pay on their contract, which in the case of the superintendent, his contract was recently renewed, and that could be up to $1 million. It could be a long process. It would delay the beginning of the healing process. And so their perspective was allowing them to resign would ensure they get not one more red cent, in the words of our school board president, from the district, and would allow us to begin to move on and search for a new superintendent without any additional risk of legal expenses or back pay.
Well, let's hope you all can get involved in picking that next superintendent, I must say, and continuing positive conversations with your kids. Liz, thanks so much. A story that we aired yesterday, still lighting up our social accounts, our live interview with a convicted sex offender who said, hey, don't judge me.
I did commit a sexual crime back in 1999, and I served my time for it. But I am not diagnosed with pedophilia, so do not go that route with me.
Here's what some of you had to say about Derek Logue. Inca wrote in, you say you're a rehabilitated sex offender. I say you're not, and I'm going to let my daughter be the guinea pig. Shelley wrote in, people deserve a second chance. The two goals of our criminal justice system are punishment and rehabilitation.